There's a place on Earth where you're so high above sea level, your body has to relearn how to breathe. In Bolivia, your body starts failing you at sea level. The clouds don't sit above you, they surround you. Bolivia isn't just a country, it's a shift in physics. A place where geography doesn't sit quietly in the background, it interferes with everything, even survival. At the center of it all is a city that shouldn't feel like a capital. La Paz sits at an altitude so extreme that visitors often arrive thinking they're fine until their body disagrees. Headaches, dizziness, shortness of breath. Locals call it adaptation. Tourists call it something else entirely. Because La Paz isn't just high, it's suspended, built into a canyon that climbs upward instead of down, as if the city forgot which direction gravity prefers. And above it all, watching like a second capital in the sky, is El Alto. One city in the valley, another on the edge of the sky, two layers of civilization stacked vertically. But Bolivia's real strangeness isn't just altitude. It's what altitude reveals. At nearly every level of life here, the environment dictates behavior. Water boils differently, cooking takes longer, athletes train in thinner air to gain endurance advantages elsewhere. Even simple movements feels negotiated, and yet people didn't just adapt here, they built civilizations here. Long before modern cities, the region was home to one of the most powerful pre-Columbian cultures in South America. Tiwanaku culture, a society that constructed monumental stone architecture at altitudes most modern athletes struggle to stand in for long. Theories still swirl about how they achieved it. Precision stonework, astronomical alignment, engineering that feels ahead of its time. Bolivia's history doesn't feel like a straight line, it feels layered, like different eras stacked on top of each other, never fully replaced. Fast forward centuries, and Bolivia becomes something else again. A political and cultural crossroads between indigenous identity and colonial legacy. One of the most visible modern figures tied to that shift is Evo Morales. His rise represented something bigger than politics. It marked a recentering of indigenous identity in a country that had long pushed it to the margins. But even politics in Bolivia feels shaped by geography, because governing a country split by mountains, valleys, and altitude zones isn't just administrative, it's physical. Distance, it's not just measured in kilometers here, it's measured in elevation changes. And then there's the landscape itself. Bolivia doesn't ease you in, it confronts you immediately. Salt flats that stretch so far they erase the horizon. Deserts that reflect the sky back at itself. And lakes that sit so high they feel like they belong to another layer of Earth entirely. One of the most surreal places is the Solar de Uyuni, a surface so flat and reflective it becomes a mirror when water covers it. In that moment, it's hard to tell where the sky ends and the ground begins. Orientation breaks down. You stop trusting distance. And that feeling, that quiet disorientation, is Bolivia's signature. Not chaos, not confusion, but scale that refuses to behave normally. Even the cities carry that sensation. Markets climb hills like staircases, neighborhoods stack vertically in layers of necessity. Transportation becomes a negotiation with slope, altitude, and endurance. Yet life continues with a kind of calm persistence. People don't treat the environment as an obstacle. They treat it as normal, because for them it is. And that might be the most interesting part of Bolivia. Not that it is extreme, but that human life doesn't just survive here, it organizes itself around the extreme. There's a quiet lesson in that normal is not a universal setting. It's something every place builds for itself. So when outsiders arrive and struggle to breathe in La Paz, it isn't Bolivia that feels unusual. It's the expectation that Earth should feel the same everywhere. Bolivia simply reminds you it doesn't. There is a city where the sky feels closer than the ground and life learned to adapt upward. And once you understand that, you stop seeing Bolivia as a destination and start seeing it as a different setting of reality entirely.